G'day Spurs fans, Paul Hotspur Hippie here, the only psychedelic soccer show on the internet in front of a bit of urban art today. I don't know where I am, somewhere in Glebe I think. Now we've got a game of football this weekend which I'm looking forward to, but found out yesterday, I talked about this on my stream a bit, but I'll talk about it a little bit more. Tottenham Hotspur have decided to increase season ticket prices and also raise concession prices, whilst probably also limiting the quota. I don't really talk about the ownership too much, because for me, as I suspect for a lot of you out there, football's an escape. Football's an escape. There's a lot going on in the world that I don't like. A lot of injustice, inequality going about. Football's a way to distract one's mind, to put some hopes and dreams and aspirations into a bit of sport, a bit of harmless tribalism, and just get away from it all. Whether it's win, lose or draw, it lets you vent out all those emotions and frustrations and joys that you have with the world. It's very disappointing news to hear. I'm not surprised. I don't really have a specific problem with Daniel Levy, because he's just another rich billionaire, and as far as I'm concerned, all those people in that kind of class are scumbags. Perhaps you out there don't have too much interaction with the wealthy. I can tell you I do, as an Uber driver. What? Rich people get Ubers? You'd think they'd be driving around in limousines or private jets and helicopters. No, well, there's a reason why rich people are rich. They don't spend any money. And I can give you an insight into some of the personalities, because I get to hear them perhaps the way you don't. I can tell you for one thing, I'm not surprised that rich people are rich, because if I have two in the back of the car, all I hear them talk about, number one, is money. All the time. They are absolutely obsessed with money and wealth. They have no empathy for people. If ever they're talking about anyone else, it's always in gossipy terms, in terms of hate, in terms of jealousy, that kind of thing. There's a guy coming up here who's got a beard like mine. That's pretty cool. Zero empathy. The times where they will ingratiate to themselves towards you are just so that they can get something out of there where they think they can benefit themselves. A lot of the time it's fake. For example, rich people will often say, "Oh, thanks very much, driver, I'll give you a tip," and then never do. But they do it just to get a big smile on your face, and then they move on. I'm not surprised that ticket prices have gone up, probably by the amount of revenue that will get for Daniel Levy will probably offset his £500,000 pay rise that he gave himself last year. The excuse given by Tottenham Hotspur was increasing costs, and one of those costs is Daniel Levy's remuneration. In fact, that's a big chunk of it. I'm sure the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust will work out exactly how much this nets the club. I think last year's ticket price increases net the club $2 million. Well, they could have put it up just $1.5 million, couldn't they? But Daniel Levy had to be paid the extra money, didn't he? I think it's really disappointing to screw concession holders. You know, you're talking about people that might have well been going to Tottenham for 60 years, seeing us go through great moments of success and joy, and those people can rightfully hold themselves up because they were part of it. They made it possible for us to do that, and now the club turns the back on them, prices them out. It's absolutely disgusting. Tottenham fans play the highest season ticket prices or ticket prices in Europe. Daniel Levy is the biggest paid chairman. I don't think there's a coincidence there. But Daniel Levy, you know, I don't know if you've noticed, he's got a very shiny head, much more than mine. So there's the extra $500,000, some sort of weird stem cell balm that he sticks on there. You can clearly see reflections in it, whereas mine's just all just basic old human skin. And the thing is, there's rumours going around that Tottenham might be purchased at the moment. It doesn't excite me. It doesn't excite me because they're all the same. They're all the same. Working class people didn't ask for money to come into the game. Money intruded its way into the game. Money saw it was a way to make more money at the expense of people. That's just the way of the world. Football's no stranger to that. Football has now become this global, or Premier League football especially, has become this global phenomenon, which is, in some ways it's great. I love hearing about Tottenham fans all over the world. I find it gives me a kick. It's great. But these ticket price increases are also, they're going to price people out who live in the local area. Many areas of like Haringey, Walthamstow, unless that's been gentrified as well. I haven't been there for so long. I mean, I get flabbergasted when I hear Hackney is now posh. I wonder if West Drayton's posh, where I lived for a while. But there's going to be kids that are living on the doorstep of Tottenham Hotspur Stadium who are not going to be able to go and see the team. And where's a football club was a great place for hope, inspiration, dreams, a way out, and a lot of kids aren't going to get that now, are they? And I think that when you lose the local support, or the local support can no longer afford to go on the club, I think you really do lose a lot of identity. But as time goes on, like I say, this is not something I like to dwell on. I'm talking about it now because it's just happened. Because I like football to be an escape, and in its essence, football hasn't changed. Still a contest between 11 on 11. Okay, the rules have changed a bit, the pitches are nicer, it's not quite as physical as it was. But football's still football. And I'm sure you watching me or other football channels, it's a way of escaping for the world for some of you lot, a little bit of mindless entertainment. So, like I say, I'm not going to go on it too much because it's pointless, isn't it? And if I consider it too much, just as I consider other things that are going on in the world, I personally find it makes me angry and upset, and it's wasted energy because I can't do anything about it. So, rightly or wrongly, I like to shut my eyes and ears off against all that and just enjoy what I can out of something. If I could change it, then I'd be full of action, but I can't. So there you go. My channel ain't gonna persuade Levy to change the ticket prices. So there you go. But it's sad, isn't it? It really is sad. If you want to take your kids to a game, it's going to be a fortune. I'd be all for raising ticket prices on concerts. Raise ticket prices on concerts, the F1 experience, the Skywalk. Jack all that up, but leave the football alone. Leave the football alone. I've heard the argument about, we've had no trophies, yet they're putting the prices up. To me, I think there's a danger, a bit of a double-edged sword about that argument. I think morally it's wrong just on its own in isolation. Because if you say something like that, then the problem is, what I think will happen under Ange Postecoglou is I think we're going to win a few trophies. I think we're going to win a few trophies. So if you're saying you can't put ticket prices up when we don't win trophies, there's a mild implication there that if we do win trophies, then you've got a license to raise ticket prices, and I don't think that's right. So trophies, success, no trophies, no success, I think that's a separate issue to the ticket price thing. But of course Tottenham's argument, the capitalist argument, will be this thing called market forces, a thing that we have reified, a concept that we've invented to make real. Supply and demand, the more the price goes up. Everyone just accepts that as almost a moral and ethical way of doing business. When in fact, you're not earning an honest living if you're just charging the most you can get. A fair price is a fair price. And if people want to buy that, and more people want to buy it, then you sell out, don't you? You don't just jack your prices up and cream off the difference. But there you go, that's the world we live in, and that's why I don't dwell on these things, because I start going down rabbit holes, because that's not just football, that's the world. The cost of living crisis is just caused by everyone making profit, isn't it? Shareholders, nameless shareholders who've just bought a share of someone else and they just get money for nothing. Workers getting screwed, you know. Tottenham Hotspur doesn't treat its staff particularly well at times, especially during COVID. I don't remember Daniel Levy and the board taking a pay furlough while all that was going on. Rich people also take credit for things that they claim to do. I often hear that Daniel Levy has built us a new stadium. I was unaware that Daniel Levy had got himself a BTEC or an HND and a builder's licence. He just told other people to do it, and by reputation he was a micromanager, which is another trait I found in rich people. Their heads are like hives of wasps, very disorderly, very uncontrolled, and the way they seek to order things is by controlling externally instead of sorting their own shit out. They seek control. They think the best way to do that is through material means, and the problem is when you do that, it's a never-ending ladder, isn't it? You never get to the top. You never feel fulfilled. If you choose to fill the void in your life with material goods, the void just keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger, my friends. So it's sad news, but I'm probably going to move on for this subject. I want to concentrate on football. We've got Aston Villa on the weekend, which is a must-win clash. Must-win clash. I hope we win it in style. I'm going to go 4-0 as usual. There's a chance I might be doing a bit of build-up on the Irish Hotspurs channel, which should be cool, but we'll see how we go. How the work in the Uber goes this week. It's not been a particularly good morning, but there's plenty of opportunity for the day to get better, I think that means. Anyway, folks, onwards and upwards. Onwards and upwards. I do have hope for the future. One of my hopes about football is that the Premier League bubble will burst. The Premier League, not only can people no longer really afford to go to many games, but also it's very expensive to subscribe to all the channels if you want to watch all the games. So I'm thinking eventually people just won't be able to afford to be involved with Premier League football. And so I would imagine that if you're living in North London, you go and support a lower division team if you're a kid. I think there is a chance that the football bubble could burst. Maybe that's a pipe dream, but I think it's possible, and I think it's probably the only way out of this situation, isn't it? But our first way out of the situation is smashing the Aston Villa 4 or 5-0 on the weekend. So I'll be back on board tomorrow after this news has settled away from my psyche a little bit. Just disappointing, you know, disappointing. But till next time, folks, peace and love, man. Peace and love, and come on, you Spurs.